Sorry, can I
Go ahead.
ask you actually, how do you trust your AI so much? Because obviously there's so much conversations about hallucination and stuff like that. So how do you make
Mhm.
sure that that doesn't make up stuff for the needs
Right.
of your customers?
So right. So we babysit it quite often. And so when the thing with the Howard Miller clocks happened, we took a step back and we said, okay, now we essentially have a roadblock in place that prevents it just from placing orders. And, we restricted the credit card access. Because it was it was one of those moments where you're like, whoa, that was expensive. And so you get nervous. And our head of growth was like, you have to have faith. Don't just like throw it away. And a lot of the AI is built around all of the activities that this demand team has done over the last 4 years or so. And so it's constantly looking at the decisions they make and trying to basically copy every decision that they would make. And so we've spent the last, I guess, 3 or 4 years um, making these decisions based on data that then we plug into the AI that we essentially, that manages all of this now to make the right decision. Again, we're constantly babysitting it to just to be sure, because some brands will upload product and it's questionable, and it's never perfect. But for example, one brand just recently uploaded product and we flagged it because it was like, it looked like they were just trying to liquidate it because they were like going like 90% off. And that doesn't always work for our system, because then immediately the AI is probably going to put it on the website, or it's going to push it somewhere where it will probably liquidate it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's a good thing for everyone else. And so it has to be a system that works collectively. Because if you come in and you just immediately go to like 90% off, now all of a sudden you're competing with all these other brands, and your product will probably come up faster and higher and sell through faster against everyone else. And it just kind of like brings everything down. And so we do flag those things and we do have to like monitor that. And I think that over time the AI starts to figure that out and learn. But yeah, it's you have to constantly put the guardrails on and babysit. Because it in the beginning when it started creating mystery boxes for consumers, it was throwing random things in and it did hallucinate. And so we have people that are on the other side that are constantly monitoring, hey, did it build the right box? But it's a lot lighter lift than them having to build the box from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. Is it still human beings that are putting the stuff in the boxes, or you also have?
Yes,
Yes.
we're not there yet. I can't imagine. I look at as a founder, you're always concerned with the macro space, macroeconomics of the world. And I have seen robots coming into warehousing, and I have seen them pick, packing, and shipping orders, them, fulfilling boxes and everything. So that is not that far off. That future of robots doing a lot of these things is right almost here. My question is, as a society, as a global society, at some point we have to come to terms with the fact that robots are probably going to do everything for us. And then what does that world look like? I actually think it's a better world. I have a whole sorts of theories around like what will eventually happen. And I think it's better in a sustainability space than people realize. But ultimately, I could see every 3PL on Earth using robots within the next 2 years, 3 years, because the costs are just going to be so low.
Nice. I'm looking forward to a robot at home that does all of the chores.
Right, right. Yeah, listen, I mean, when we talk about robotics, I think so many people don't understand what that really means from a global perspective. I think they think, oh, this robot's going to do this one task. But then as you start to see the robot's just going to do every task. So it's going to drive us where we need to go. My daughter will probably never drive a car. Farming will change. Pick, packing, and shipping will change. Robots will build things for us. So then the question has to become, okay, if you don't really need humans to do most things, then what will humans do? Like, what will be the purpose of people? And I firmly believe that people's value will just be in existing and doing things. Meaning, go buy something, go travel, go, create whatever you want to create, go do whatever you want to do. But as a society, we have to come to terms with this idea around some type of universal income. And whether it's basic income or high income, there's all been sorts of theories. But I think that once the world economy realizes, oh, we don't need humans for most things. We just need humans to do things in a weird way. So we're going to have to just pay people to do stuff. And the second that happens, right, buy stuff, go travel, right? The second that happens, as insane as this sounds, you're going to start to see the quality of goods increase. Because what will be the point of making something cheaply? It won't make any sense. Because if a robot's going to build it or manufacture it anyway, make it as high quality as you can, make it last as long as possible, make it of sustainable materials. Because the guy who's going to buy the thing that you just made is going to have the resources to buy it anyway. And so in a weird way, robots are, in my opinion, AI and robotics are actually going to make the world more sustainable than we think. And it really just comes down to playing out the sort of doing game theory as far as you can. And you're going to see that like the universal basic income is just going to be a thing that we have to accept in a weird way,